So there's 10 seconds. Hopefully you're there now, folks. No, this is live to YouTube, this one. Hey, folks,
YouTube.
look who we meet.
Hey, how you doing?
The strange folks that you find in Bendigo. Michael, lovely to see you.
Yeah, same, man.
We're here with the bus.
I can't believe you're on YouTube. I've been kicked off so many times.
But this particular channel is the only YouTube channel I have left. They've taken them all down. They forgot to take this one down. I have no access to it anymore. It was my only monetized channel, and I can't monetize anything on it.
Yeah, that's right.
But if this phone dies, we have no more access. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, that's how it works.
Survived.
So you nearly ran me over last night in the streets of Bendigo, as you who?
Oh, really?
So what are you doing?
It's Kelly driving, not me.
What are you doing in Bendigo?
Well, we were at an 832 gathering in Deniliquin.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going back to Melbourne to just sort out a few things, and then we don't know what we're doing. My instincts is that we'll probably just keep traveling around doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And see what happens until we run out of money.
We've had very interesting conversation this morning. Maybe you aren't aware, folks, but Michael's put together a magnificent music organisation. Why don't you show that, because I can't use both hands at the same time.
Oh, that's it. That's culture. So this is music from the freedom movement, and it's online. It also comes in a USB. I'm just trying to give our movement an identity that's different from, oh, that's a group. This is the art of our movement. So we're starting with music, but I'm doing theatre. People are sending us novels, but we don't have the capacity to do anything with novels at the moment. But it's anything to do. Memes are another one. We've got the thing there.
Yeah, let's have a look here. We'll spin her around. This is a great one. Australia's favourite new pet, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
God, it must be cold in Bendigo. I'm shaking like shit. I love this photo, Michael. Can you explain this?
Okay, so this was a young man. He was also called Michael, and what he was he was in the freedom movements, and he was holding crosses like that up against people's faces, policemen's faces. Incredibly brave.
Yeah.
And I wrote a thing about him called The Rise of the Australian Spiritual Warrior. Now, when I finally met him, and this piece went nuts, they actually translated into Mandarin with all over Asia, and we went nuts. And when I met him, I told him about it, and I said, so what religion are you? And he went, I'm an atheist. I went, what?
Wow.
And he'd been brought up a strict atheist, but when this all started happening, he just looked at it and said, this is a battle between good and evil. I pick good, so he picked the symbol that meant good.
That's brilliant.
And now he's a Christian.
Also on your bus, you've got some things that we should never forget, Michael. Namely, this is a picture that you took.
Yeah, so what I did was, this is actually a snap from a video. I was videoing it over my shoulder like this, and this was on the morning of the shrine. So before we even got to the shrine, these were driving around, two of these were driving around Melbourne with 6 RVs behind them, and they were just indiscriminately shooting people. They didn't pull up and say, you know, stay there, let's check your papers. They were just firing at us. This was in Melbourne. And one of these guys shot me. This gorilla here, he jumped onto the person next to me, a young man, and smashed his face into the ground. And I thought, I'm next. That's why I filmed it. And when I got home, I realised I had this image. But to me, this image is a historical image.
I agree.
It should be in a museum to say this is how far we got.
Never forget. Never forget this is what they were prepared to do.
When I finally went to court over being arrested at the shrine, we had like 8 court appearances before I finally saw. And I was there by myself in the end. And I managed to get this in front of the magistrates in a picture.
Right.
I got to the prosecutor, the magistrate. And the magistrate was just looking at it, and the prosecutor was going, relevance, relevance, relevance. And the magistrate went, this is Kingsford. You could see him unable to process, and then he went relevance, yeah. And then he turned to the prosecutor, held up the image and said, you have to admit though, that is an astonishing photograph. And the prosecutor was like this. So it was really interesting, and that they gave me a 3-month good behaviour bond throughout the fine, throughout the conviction, I think.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting,
mate,
that it profoundly affected it, because that's evidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't get that printed in any magazine, any newspaper.
No.
No one will touch it. And yet,
and ordinarily it would be on the front of Time.
That's the front of that's the front of a Time magazine thing.
Yep, couldn't agree more.
Australia.
Couldn't agree more.
So even this guy's laughing. You know, he seems to be.
Yeah.
The one behind. And they've got another guy up here, you can't see it clearly, but he's out there just shooting people from the turret.
Yeah, a bad day. It should never be forgotten what they're prepared to do, folks.
Yeah.
This is what government tyranny looks like, and of course Victoria led the role in that way. Michael, thank you for all the work you're doing.
Oh, I'll tell you one more beautiful story.
Please do.
This woman here is called Tash. She's from Toowoomba. Now, I was travelling around when we were marketing the Forest of the Fallen. I had 100 of the forests in my bus. And I turn up and I show the Freedom Movement, this is what it can do. And so we were selling it. And so Selkie from the other side, she's the one that came up with the idea of the forest. And we named it to give it an idea for the interview. And because we knew that the mainstream media would use it, but it would still sound beautiful no matter how bad they said it. Oh, the Forest of the Fallen.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was putting up something and I saw this image of someone on one of them, and I wondered who this is. And so I contacted her, and she happened to be in the town I was in. And she was working in a nursing home, the second nursing home in Australia to get vaccinated. They came in, they vaccinated everyone, residents and all the staff. They didn't tell them it was COVID, they didn't sign anything. When they came back to give them the second shot, she said, I don't want the COVID shot. And all of them have been sick from the first, lots of them. And they said, well, you've already had the first. She said, what? So she took it.
Wow.
And now she's got POTS. So her heart thing goes like crazy.
Yep.
Her heart goes up to 200 when she's sitting there quietly. And so she's been in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's really tragic. Now she works at a service station, but with a smartwatch constantly racing up to 200.
Yeah,
nothing.
monitoring her heart.
So she's just waiting to die.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Michael, you and Florence do a great job travelling around the country,
Thank you.
and Kelly too, shouldn't
Thank
forget
you.
her. Well, hopefully we might be able to do a bit of that together.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be great.
We should, we'll need to find a couple of bigger car parks, but I think we can get something going. And culture is a very exciting project, and I would
Well,
commend.
it's the art of our movement.
Yeah.
And,
So-
it's to give our movement an identity.
How can people get one of those culture USB sticks?
Just go to cafelockedout.com and say you want one, and we'll organise it from there. We're still in the thing of getting that organised.
Beauty. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Thanks
No
for talking to us.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Not often that we get to bump into Cafe Locked Out, and well, nearly bumped in quite physically last night, but that's a whole other
Kelly's
different.
driving, not mine.
Kelly driving, not here, and as you can see, everybody's getting in on the action. So we're about to hit the road, folks. Cobram, look out, here we come, and looking forward to seeing everybody there tonight for the Ainsley Bullion Freedom Financial Solutions Wealth Seminar. Come in, have a chat. Looking forward to seeing everybody. Got a lot of friends along the river there, so hopefully a couple of hours I'll be there. See you soon, bye.